my goodness, not a great way to start out a video. Sorry about that. I'm just waking up from CitizenCon. Wow. I mean, wow. Apparently 1.4 million that day was made. 8,000 something like that new accounts, and a wonderful time I had with you guys on Saturday. It was an absolute blast. I'm on my way right now to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Well, while I am, this whole week's of videos are going to be devoted to everything we saw at CitizenCon. So as I'm heading to the expo, we're just going to go into everything that we saw. It's going to be a whole bunch of videos this week, guys, and I look forward to seeing your comments down below. And all right, let's just hop into it. We're going to talk about MicroTech and a lot of other things. Let's go. And on to the expo for me. This video is going to be covering MicroTech and the art direction, the better UI that we saw through the panels in the game, the physics on items like cloth and materials, and also the AI controlled ship that we saw. All very exciting topics. And I can't wait to really go over the way I felt while I was watching this with you, get you an inside scoop on what it was that I was really thinking while I was watching CitizenCon with you all. Next video is going to be on Planetech V4, climate maps, and dynamic weather, which we talked about in 2015. This is very exciting and it deserves its own video. We're going to be covering all this week, all the things that we've seen here, and I'm trying to do this as rationally as possible because I still feel all the hype. So I'm going to try and push the hype down, and I'm going to really go over these analytically, and we're going to talk about everything that we've seen this entire week. I can't wait to go over it with you. First off, MicroTech. When they showed us the Carrack and then the Pisces coming out of the Carrack and the dark kind of ruddy blue of the planet, I was initially wondering, like, wait a second, I can't really see it yet. They obscured it almost on purpose. Like the way that they showed it off first made you question it. I loved it. I loved how they started it out. I really think that was intentionally planned to kind of make you say, well, what's going on here on MicroTech? Then coming down into MicroTech and getting blinded, you know, with the very bright, cold white. Very similar to like when you turn on your screen and you just have like your Google web browser up and it's like all white, or a notepad staring back at you and it's just all white and you're like, woo, it's a lot of light. And then your eyes adjusted and you saw the enormity of New Babbage and how it laid out before you. It was wonderful. It gave me a huge sense of scale as they got closer to see these buildings, these very massive buildings, the tram and the column from the tram literally going down below a frozen lake gave me depth, gave me like 3-dimension like no other area out there. It gave me a sense of scale. For the first time, it really gave me this sense of awe to see that there was a lot of volume. It was a very volumetric experience, the weather adding to it as well. The weather system coming in, the snow coming in, also adding to that kind of volumetric kind of experience where I was in it and things were very large. Where in comparison, if we talk about Lorville and Hurston and how the art direction is there and really well thought out, where it's flat and pushed down, buildings are large and blocky. I didn't get a sense of scale there because everything matched the environment, the Hurstons, and how they enslaved their civilization to completely work the rest of their entire lives for nothing, pushing down onto that culture, as it were, politically, expressed through the architecture of the city. Wonderfully done, but didn't give me that sense of scale. Then going to ArcCorp and Area 18 and where I'm at now, enjoying the expo, and that very vertical kind of experience, up and down, and I feel like I'm kind of levitating between the depths of the city and the tops of the skyscrapers. And you know, I love the feel of it. Very technological versus the dirty, grungy feel of Hurston, of Lorville, and a different kind of feel altogether, like a dark and seedy kind of vibe when the sun comes up, the lighting playing a huge factor as well. And then going into MicroTech, that very cold, clean, dangerous feel. The city itself, very inviting from the outside. You know, when you're looking at the expanse of New Babbage and you see it just spread out, the spaceport literally built in to the side of the mountain. Fantastic. The way that they put that in there was I loved it. Very Hoth feel. Wonderful addition how they designed that. And the domes. Also, where all the genetic experiments on the vegetation happen. Also a wonderful idea. But the expanse of the city, it was very volumetric. It was very nice to see on the outside. It gave you a feeling that this was your safety zone. This was your harbor of life. Like, as cold and as beautiful, crystalline clear as everything was on the outside, you knew it was dangerous. You know it's going to kill you. And we'll get into that in the next video about weather and how it's going to affect you. There's so much to talk about today. It's just crazy. But it did give you this sense of safety. Like, everything's going to be okay as long as I can get to New Babbage. And so when you get there and you're inside, then it's also clean and sterile, but you're in it. And it gives you, like we were explaining on the stream, it was so funny that day at CitizenCon where one of our fans was laughing because the developer had mentioned that it was a bit douchey, like the design of it was like Starbucks or something of that nature, and it kind of gave you at certain points this douchey feel where you're like, oh, shots fired, this is crazy that this guy's saying this, but it was a valid statement. It kind of at points felt like that. It reminded me of my stay, oh my god, at Cleveland Clinic for 4 months while my mom was sick, and to see the inside of it was very sterile, very cold, but you were alive in it, and it gave you this sense of warmth that really wasn't there inside until you saw like the lighting effects, like especially at the tram station. The art direction's wonderful. Like the people actually thinking about the lighting and the way in which the cities themselves are corresponding with the planets and the culture itself, very well thought out. When I saw the lighting warm itself up at those trams, I thought that little touch was brilliant. Just that change in lighting gave you an amazing feel. And you, for the briefest of moments, felt warmth from it. And that's how powerful the lighting is in the game, and can be, and well thought out and well put in. Moving on to the panels, moving on to the UI system that we saw. So much cleaner than before. I was so worried seeing all that text, all the UI just floating off of buttons on elevators, and it just made me kind of sick. And I was thinking, man, this is old school 90s. I can't wait till I see something better. The timing of looking at this better UI through the panels, through the displays, was so well thought out. To see that this was corresponded with like their introduction into like, here's MicroTech, and then to see these panels be so clean, so simplistic, and this new tech that we can use not being difficult was wonderful. Thank you. I cannot wait till we see this in the game. I cannot wait till this is part of the game. It's going to really give more immersion to us so that we're not seeing this floating text and feeling we're playing a game from the 1990s. So kudos to this better UI that I saw. It really is not touted enough by content creators out there. The art and the technology and the function, they are much more functional than before. I love what they're doing in terms of the UI. Keep it up. That was very, very positive for me to see. Now we're talking about physics on the items. We talked about a level of persistence where you're literally going to set a cup down and that cup will be there for the entirety of the existence of the server, unless somebody actually abuses the system and puts like 50,000 cups together. And, you know, obviously Chris is going to police that somewhat, thank God. But there will be a level of this persistence, and it was nice to see this jacket hanging over here and these new physics being applied to material, to cloth. I thought to myself that when I saw this, it's going to be very rough, that this is only the first iteration. It will get better over time. But with this technology that was initially dubbed grabby hands, that it's always been sloppy to see like these items being moved around and then clipping through different desks and tables that you're putting items on. They really, the physics needs still a lot of work. So in regards being really rational here, it's going to take some time to get this perfected, this physics on items. The jacket looked a little bit sloppy. It was nice to see the tarp over the rover kind of flap in the wind. After it was pulled off, we kind of saw it flap around there on the ground. I do like that. It seems like there needs to be more done in regards to the physics on these items, that this is just, again, the first iteration of this type of physics on these materials that we see. We'll probably see it on other materials as well, not just cloth, but other materials that are out there. I'm curious to know exactly how they're going to go about this, as most people think this is trivial. Most people think this is something that's not really needed in the game. My personal stance on this is, a lot of people know on the channel, I do want a limitless experience. I do want a game that's going to offer me like amazing amounts of detail and an amazing amount of immersion, and anything that is going to break that would ruin my experience or what my expectations are for this game. So I don't think it's really, as some people say, as trivial as some make it out to be. I do want this level of detail in the game, and if it does take the initial amount of time to get this into the game, then I'm willing to, take that amount of time to get it done right. Some people would argue with that, and I understand that point from other people, that this is something that could definitely be on the back burner for more important issues. And while I agree, I will say though that this isn't as trivial as people think. If they do want this limitless experience, they do want the immersion, that this is something that is just as important to some of the other features in the game, like dynamic weather, and we'll talk about that again on next video. But I think right now, initially, this is very rough, and this is going to need some time to code and design properly in order for us to feel like when that jacket was picked up, that the realism of the jacket shaking from moving your hand around, or the wind actually affecting the tarp from the that we saw on the rover. These types of things are going to be very hard to portray with realism, and it's going to take some time, but I'm happy that they're doing it. I want them to do things like this. This is what makes this game different from other games. And then finally, when I saw the ship take off from AI and I saw how smooth that was, I thought to myself, yeah, that AI is flying better than 70% of the people in the game right now, and maybe that will add much more realism than I initially thought. When I start to see ships flying around like the AI flew in the gameplay that we were watching, it was pretty great. Some people saying that's definitely something that's scripted, that the AI cannot really do that. I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree with that. It wouldn't be the first time that Cloud Imperium has done that. I think they did do that in order for us to get like an idea of where the game wants to be. I don't really think the AI has the ability to fly like that right now. I think they're working on it. It would be great if in fact that is what we were seeing, are what the AI are capable of doing, are capable of what the NPCs are doing. It really brings us back to thinking about NPC crew and what they're going to be capable of. So if we can get us to this level where the AI can fly like that, then I'm really looking forward to seeing the AI in my turrets and ships, and hiring this NPC crew. And where I used to have this disdain for NPC and AI, if we could see something that simulated the realism, and we'll get into the economy as well. Don't even get me started about this is amazing. Like I'm going to try, like I said, I'm going to try and tone down my hype and be as rational as possible on these videos, but I'm having a wonderful time with you guys, chilling out. Last week's stream was amazing. Saturday, spending 9 hours with you guys. Got a lot of comments and thanks on putting that 9-hour long stream up on YouTube. That was no small feat. I had a lot of people also who didn't understand the significance of the fact that we were chilling out as a family, having a good time. Some people really upset about all the chat in the window. I'm not concerned about these people. They can just F off. I'm just happy that you guys were there and we could just chill out. It's a lot of people in the Star Citizen community forgetting about the one most important thing, which is fun. So many prissy people, so many stuck up people. I'm not worried about them. I know what my fam's like. They're open-minded, they're cool, they're chill, and we all had a good time. I'm glad I could put that 9-hour video up for you, and more videos on the way this week. Happy Thanksgiving week, all week. It's gonna be fun. Stay tuned to the channel, spread it around, and don't forget, we're gonna announce a giveaway this Thursday. Thanks everyone, and I will see you on the next vid. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. And these difficult times where independent content creation is under attack from the FTC and left to die by YouTube, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated. Thank you.